Hi, and welcome to Tech Talk, the Bankers video series taking the pulse of the fintech community. I'm Joy McKnight, Technology Editor at The Banker, and I'm joined by Francisco Lorca, Managing Director at Startupbootcamp FinTech London, to share his insights into a new report on the evolution of the fintech sector. Thanks so much for joining us today, Francisco.
Thank you, yeah.
Can you give me a little bit of a highlight on what were the main findings of the research that you did and the report?
Okay, so this research is based on what we did last year in 2016, and this is the basic mainly around the applications that we have for our program. So it's about 450 applications of startups that apply to our program. The main thing is how impressive the level of innovation and the level of entrepreneurialism is from the startups for the entrepreneurs. That would be kind of like the one that keeps surprising us. That's the first one. The second one would be how the landscape has changed between the incumbents and the startups, and it's changed from one of competition to one of collaboration. That's another big trend. The third one would also be how financial inclusion has become very important, and not only for incumbents, which is better known, but also for startups, for entrepreneurs that see it both as an opportunity to do good, but also for an opportunity to make money. And then if I had to say another one would be how artificial intelligence and machine learning are becoming very much of a hot topic, which has both the components of being a hot buzz topic, but also doing many real things, and mainly in areas that are customer centric.
Okay, you touched on sort of this move from competition to collaboration. What really has encouraged that?
So, and it's been pretty impressive. It's been very impressive. So I think I divide that in the two players. So if you look at the incumbents know that they need to work with the startups. So they've seen how other sectors, how other industries have changed, and they know that it's both a threat but also a big opportunity for them to work with the startups. And also their perspective has changed from one in which I can wait and eventually buy one of them, to one in which is no, I need to work from them from the very beginning, because it might be too late if I wait to buy them, but also if I just do that, my culture is never going to change. And also, moreover, culturally, employees that work in banks also expect the banks to be innovative, to work with startups. So it's become something good even from the ability to attract talent. On the startup side, actually a couple of things have changed. First, you're getting entrepreneurs that are much more seasoned. So it's not so much the young entrepreneur that wants to change how money transfer or credit cards work. There are people from the industry that are coming over, and people at the industry that are coming over to work in the infrastructure, and that those people know that they need the banks, or that they can supply the banks with their services. So it's changed incredibly.
Okay, and you talked a little bit about artificial intelligence. What are the other hot technology trends? And do you think there's also been a change of perspective from the startup community and how they're applying these new technologies?
So there's always the problem of calling, when I was smiling before about saying hot trend, because some of it you do have a little bit of a buzz to them, and then sometimes they don't become reality. For example, if you look at what happened with blockchain, some people would say, well, that's faded, and it actually hasn't faded. What's happened is that blockchain has gone from companies saying, I am a blockchain company, to a lot of companies using blockchain as part of infrastructure. So it's what I call becoming industrialized. So it doesn't mean that it's gone. It means that it's just become something that's a component of the infrastructure. So actually half of our companies this year, 5 of the 10 companies that came through our program, use blockchain, but they did not call themselves a blockchain company. They called themselves something else, and then one of the things that they used was blockchain. The same way that people would say 15 years ago, 17 years ago, they used to say, I'm a web company, I'm a .com. Nobody calls themselves a .com anymore. So that's part of one of the things that has happened. The second thing in AI, the amazing part is that AI is now cheap, it's affordable, it's open source, so it's very easy for a startup to tap into AI. And what a lot of startups are doing is they're using that to solve customer issues, to be customer centric. So it's very, very exciting.
Okay, and you also mentioned financial inclusion. What do you think has really encouraged startups to really look at this area of finance?
So if I look at startups, because the financial inclusion has been driven both by startups and a little bit also by the incumbents for different reasons. The startups, it's a combination of, again, they want to do good, but also they see a huge opportunity. And I divide financial inclusion in kind of like in two parts. One is what most of the people would understand as financial inclusion, i.e. 2 billion people worldwide that don't have access to a bank account, 2 million people in the UK that don't have access to a bank account, and people that are worse off, so poorer people. That's a part that you need. There's a problem, people that want to do good, but there's also an opportunity. That's one part. The second part is what people used to call financial education, that now it's called financial wellness. And it's basically people that are investing, they don't know how to invest, or they're spending their money in their own way. And there's also a big opportunity on that aspect. So for example, we had companies in both sides. We had a company called Europe One, which is basically serving transient Europeans. People, not only people in the low income scale, but people like some of our employees that are from Italy and are working here and cannot open a bank account. So that for us would be also called financial inclusion.
Okay, so my last question is around Brexit. There's still a lot of debate about how that's really going to play out, but do you think that London will be able to really hold on to its lead position as a fintech capital of the world?
I think it's still a little bit early to tell. I strongly believe it should. It will probably. It's very rare, very hard to find a place that combines what we combine here in London. It's very hard to find a place with the regulator, like the role that the regulator has played here in the last 2-3 years, which is amazing. A place that for centuries has had such an attraction for capital, and a place that always, but actually even more recent, in the last 15 years, has become such a magnet for talent. Having said that, talent is the one that I think could make it into a should more than will. Because if there's not a clear message that London is still a magnet for talent, that could be one that could put that part in danger.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for sharing your insights, Francisco.
Thank you so much.